What's up everybody, Nate here from Out of the Basement, bringing you a brand new action figure review. Today, from Star Wars The Black Series, we are taking a look at the Gaming Greats FLAMETROOPER. This is, of course, from Jedi Fallen Order, the most recent Star Wars game, a fantastic video game. This is, of course, a GameStop exclusive figure here. One of the latest Jedi Fallen Order troopers to come out. Also can double as the Ralph McQuarrie Snowtrooper concept art because it is essentially the same design, just introduced into canon as a FLAMETROOPer, kind of like how recently in Bad Batch we got to see those Ralph McQuarrie Stormtroopers now as Phase 1 Stormtroopers. But either way, I'm super happy to add another troop to the ranks of the Imperial Army, so let's go ahead. We're going to take a quick look at the package here, and then of course we will dive into the figure. So of course we've got the big window packaging. You've got the Gaming Greats logo right there. It says Jedi Fallen Order across the bottom. You got the FLAMETROOPER logo on the side. You can see a little bit of BD1 and Cal. Of course, a nice image of the FLAMETROOPer here. It is number 3 in the Gaming Greats line. There is the bio if you want to go ahead and pause it, read it there. A larger image of that wonderful side art right there. Of course, we do have the barcode on the bottom and the logo on the side here. Ooh, and actually there's a new Gaming Greats logo right there on the side of the box. Of course, we've just got the window up top. So let's go ahead. We're going to take a look at this figure's one accessory, and then we will jump in to the figure itself. All right, and here is that lonesome accessory. All we get with this FLAMETROOPer is the flamethrower. It does look pretty accurate to the game. Jedi Fallen Order actually has some really nice detailed images of the game models out there, so I was taking a quick look at the design and the flamethrower here itself, and it does look pretty accurate to the game here. So you can see it is a brand new mold at least. However, it is completely devoid of paint apps except for just a little bit of red there. I guess technically it could be worse. There could be no red paint at all, but yeah, I mean, it's very lackluster here. Although I will say that the sculpted details and everything still are very nice, and with just a quick dry brushing, this would really look fantastic. I wish Hasbro would still just do that kind of stuff on weapons, but I guess pretty much we can kiss those days goodbye. So just taking a look there, everything looks really nice. And of course, I actually think this was pretty smart here on Hasbro's part, but we have the weapon removable from the hose here, so you just plug it in there to hook it up to the backpack and everything like that. So we're going to go ahead and put the FLAMETROOPer on the rotatey base and take a quick look. All right, and here is the FLAMETROOPer, aka the Ralph McQuarrie Snowtrooper, if you wanted to go that route, out of the packaging. Of course, canon-wise, it is the FLAMETROOPer, but you can still see that the costume design is almost identical to the Snowtrooper. And of course, with that being said, the figure is mostly reuse of the Snowtrooper Black Series figure. We do get some new forearms, some lower legs, and the head, as well as the backpack. And we'll go over any other minor details that might be different between the two later on in the video, but for now we're just taking a quick overview look of the figure. Personally, if it fits the design, I'm okay with the reuse. It makes sense. The character literally looks exactly like a Snowtrooper, so why not just reuse that figure? Of course, though, this is $26.99 straight from GameStop with shipping. That brings it into the $30 range here in the United States, so it's a pretty pricey figure. I would definitely recommend trying to find this one in store or buying two so that you get the free shipping. Anyways, let's go ahead. We'll take the figure off the stand and get a real close look at the details. All right, and here we are up close, and just take a look at the intricate details there in the helmet. Love the little bits of gray there for the exhaust ports. The sort of more stormtroopery style visor there. Some really nice sculpt work packed in there, especially with like the little mouth grill there. Loving the way that looks, although I will say there should be a little bit of a black line in the game, like right along the nose here. There's a black line. Do wish we would have got that painted there. Simple fix if you have a Gundam marker. I'm probably going to actually do it on one of them just to see how it looks, because I'm sure it's going to really elevate the figure, make that design pop a little bit more. But still, some really nice details there. A mix of whites as well. You have more of like a cream and then a pure white there. Also on the back of the helmet, we do get some nice orange paint app details there. You can also see them on the backpack as well. they are like chipped up. Of course, now that we're looking at the backpack here, you can see that they actually did include some really decent paint app details there. We get 2 dots of paint on the buttons, 2 more dots on some switches, a little bit of gray, this orange, more gray down here for the tanks of gas, I would assume. I really do enjoy that, so thankfully there are some decent paint apps here that you don't have to do yourself. Of course, if you're curious, the backpack is removable, and there's some sculpted details here on the back of the figure, some straps and some ruffles and some texture details there, so that actually looks pretty nice. Flipping back over to the front here, you can see there's some more red paint there for some nice little switches. And then moving down, we get some various beige paints, a little bit of white paint there. And down to the feet here, you can see that there are the new lower legs as well, which look pretty different from the regular Snowtrooper. No paint details going on here, but we do get some nice texturing and a little bit of shoelace detail as well. So let's go ahead, we're gonna bust out the old Snowtrooper here and just take a look at them side by side. So you can definitely see here, the forearms are new on the FLAMETROOPER. The shoulder pads appear to be flipped upside down and made out of a different plastic as well. Not quite as many paint apps here. You can see on the Snowtrooper, you got some black paint there in the paneling and a little bit of red. Don't get any of that on the FLAMETROOPER, so I would have liked to see that carry over. Same thing with that little bit of silver there right on the belt that is not painted on the FLAMETROOPER. And then moving down here, again, it's pretty similar. Same knees, but different lower legs. Obviously, you can see the sculpt differences between the two there. With that being said, there is some room for a little bit of improved articulation here, specifically with the elbows on this figure, and I'll show you that once we jump into the articulation. But yeah, there is a look at the two figures side by side, just to see what kind of differences we are looking at. So yeah, I mean, detail wise, there is a decent amount of paint. Obviously, we saw compared to the Snowtrooper, this one is lacking a little bit in a few departments, but you know, I am really happy with how this figure has turned out looks wise. Of course, as the FLAMETROOPER or the Ralph McQuarrie Snowtrooper, either way, it's actually pretty awesome that we are getting a 6-inch figure of this. So now, let's go ahead and take a look at the articulation. Jeez, avalanche in the background. Let's take a look at the articulation. All right, so for the head here, the figure can look up pretty much not at all. That's more of just like a straightforward look, I would say. The head does go down just a little bit as well, so really not great head articulation there, which really not surprising. There's really no side to side to be had here. You can twist the head back and forth like so. Really hard, pretty much impossible to get him to do the Exorcist, but that is because this is a decently hard plastic. It's a little bit soft, but it's not soft enough to where you're easily going to be able to move the head. But you still do get a little bit of range out of it there, so it's not completely horrible. As far as the shoulders are concerned, though, they do go all the way out, and the shoulder pads tuck nicely into the body armor there, so no restriction as far as that goes. The arm does rotate around. You do get that single jointed elbow that does give you ever so slightly more than 90 degrees. Between the two, yeah, you'll see you definitely get slightly more range here with this new FLAMETROOPER. Of course, it swivels. The trigger finger hand does rotate around here. You do get a vertical hinge, which does go down a decent amount, but up not so much. And on the alternate gripping hand, of course, we get the rotation and the horizontal hinge. As far as the ab crunch goes, get about that far forward, so not too much, but actually a little bit more than you'd think, thanks to the soft armor design here. And going back is pretty much non-existent. It's more so just straight up. You do get rotation and some side to side as well. Just a little bit. Nothing that'll really hold that well. But I don't think anyone is really surprised at the ab articulation at this point in the Black Series game. As far as the feet are concerned, they do kick up about that far, but this little soft piece of armor does like to kind of push the leg back down a little bit. As far as the splits goes, he does have a decent range right there, and the skirt piece is nice and flexible, so it moves out of the way pretty easily. Of course, the kickback is pretty much non-existent, but we do have a thigh swivel here, and we also get double jointed knees that work pretty well. And then moving down Here we can bring the feet all the way down, up not so much, and of course we do get ankle pivot, and there are peg holes on the bottom of this trooper. So if you have the Snowtrooper, you really know exactly what you're about to get out of this figure articulation wise. Of course there is a little bit more elbow range on this, but otherwise it's almost 100% identical. So could the articulation be better? Yeah, I think it definitely could. Obviously it could benefit from butterfly joints, maybe a little bit softer plastic for the head so we can get some better posing out of that, but it is what it is, and overall you'll still get your nice trooper poses out of this one. So now it's time to make some comparisons. We'll put them up against some other Black Series figures, the Bandai model kit stuff, and of course some other imports as well. First up, we'll start out with the plain old classic Snowtrooper there. You can see the Snowtrooper actually looks like he might just be a little bit bigger due to the helmet design. Of course, we've got the original Stormtrooper release and then the 2020 Mandalorian Stormtrooper. Of course, we've got the Purge Troopers, the Electro Staff, and the original release. And wrapping it up for the Black Series, we have the Second Sister Inquisitor, and then we also have the Bandai model kit Shadow Stormtrooper. Did I say wrapping it up for the Black Series? I totally spaced on including both Cal Kestis's here. And finally, the SH Figuarts Tank Pilot Commander and the Mafex First Order Stormtrooper. For those curious about the other flame effects and if they may work with this particular flamethrower, I do have some bad news for you. Neither of them really fit in here. This is the Incinerator Trooper. It does fit on it, so you might be able to get away with using some sticky tack or something like that if you wanted to sort of just have it on there for maybe a picture of some figure photography or something. But then the Boba Fett one is completely hopeless. It doesn't even remotely resemble the same shape there. So with all that being said, that was my review of the figure. What do you think about it? Of course, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Personally, I am happy to add this figure to my Imperial ranks. Definitely not an essential pickup in my opinion, although it does also offer a little cool Ralph McQuarrie. Awesome. It does also offer something a little bit extra, being based on some Ralph McQuarrie art. But yeah, the details are really nice. The articulation is pretty subpar in all honesty. Pretty vanilla posing to be had with this guy, but you can still get those decent action poses with the right angle and the right sort of pose here. So overall, I do still like the figure, and again, I'm happy to have another soldier for the Imperial Army on the shelf. So that's my review. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you are new, consider joining our channel and becoming a member of the Basement Dweller Army. Also, check us out every single Sunday at 1 p.m. right here on the channel for some live stream hangouts. We usually just talk about Black Series, Star Wars in general. Sometimes we've got a guest on as well, usually another person from the community. So it's a lot of fun. I would love to see everyone there. Of course, I'm Nate from Out of the Basement. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.